Welcome to the Breaking Point podcast, where we celebrate the transformative breakthroughs and the moments of courage and growth that help us step into who we truly are meant to be. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome my dear friend and one of South Africa's most talented and inspiring women, actress, singer, model, and passionate freediver, Tanya van Graan.
You want to break up this family?
This family is already broken. Communication specialist, jump instructor, heavy weapons instructor, scope weapons instructor, close combat instructor, edge weapons instructor. Oh yeah, and yoga instructor. Well, hot yoga.
Tanya van Graan is a talented and versatile South African actress, singer, model, and passionate freediver. With a career spanning over 2 decades, she has built an impressive international presence. Tanya has also appeared in numerous South African television productions and continues to bring depth and authenticity to every character she plays. Tanya and I go way back to our very first commercial together about 20 years ago. Tanya, what a privilege, what an absolute privilege to have you on the show today. Thank you, my friend. I really enjoy seeing you after all these years.
You still look exactly the same. It's amazing. Beautiful.
Thanks, iPhone. So
Yeah.
I'm still toying with the idea of changing my show's name. Because I started off the show calling it The Breaking Point. I had this big yearning to actually just be real, to sit down and talk to people. A year later, it's a very, very popular name. So I've got a lot of competition with the name, but I'll let the audience decide and I'll let it maybe grow. And that by episode 4, it might change. We don't know. But for now, welcome to The Breaking Point.
I love it, as it should be. And I think things should change. That's the whole point. I don't think we ever remain the same thing.
To me, the entirety of your career is such a pivot to pivot to pivot. But before we delve into that, do you know that I saw you as one of my biggest competitors 20 years ago?
No,
Yes.
really. But
Yes.
I wasn't even blonde.
I remember one of the very first, I came back from Italy, joined my agency in Johannesburg, went to my very first audition, and I met you there. It was a very famous water brand.
A flavored water brand. Yes.
Flavored water brand. And we had to do this audition. I don't know, I would love to hear your rendition of this, but
I remember it very clearly.
I was 19. Had no idea. I'm from Sunnieshof and Potchefstroom. I had no idea about auditions, castings, nothing. Went to this audition. I remember my mom and dad took me.
Wow.
I saw this beautiful, beautiful brunette
No.
coming to me. They lined us up and they said, okay, for this audition, you're going to do something different. You need to hold your breath.
Wait, no, that was the callback. I love this story because I remember it very clearly. I remember the call. I remember everything. So we did the audition in the room, which we couldn't hold our breath, obviously.
Yes,
this commercial is obviously underwater, so for those who want to understand it. And there were, I think, 5 flavors of water. You were pink, I think.
Yes.
I was orange. And so obviously the audition, we had to just do a performance as much as we could in the room. And then obviously the callback, I remember there was 10 of us, right? And I remember they said, we were standing at the pool and they were going, okay, so we're gonna have to see how long you can hold your breath. And basically the one in each little category that holds their breath for the longest obviously will be the easiest to work with. And basically you'll get the job. I'll never forget this because I was laughing in my sleeve, as I know you play underwater hockey as well, now that I remember that. I remembered going, that's easy. I was like, I just have to hold my breath longer than that girl. And I'll never forget because I said, no, it's fine, you go first. Obviously, so I said, go first. And I'll never forget, she went in the water and she held her breath for 54 seconds. I'll never forget it. And when she came out, everybody applauded and I just went, okay, cool, that's great. And I'll never forget, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna try and show, instead of sitting down, because when you're moving, you're not distracted, you're not trying to hold your breath. So I remember I was swimming around and around and I came out, I think it was just under 2 minutes. And everybody was just quiet. I was like, thank you.
I remember you so clearly. I was beyond nervous. I was sitting there and you came to me and you spoke to me in Afrikaans. And you said to me, whatever you do, just stay calm. Tanya and I both played underwater hockey. I played for the mixed league for the Northwest, and Tanya played from Mpumalanga. And we actually played a tournament, not against each other, because I played in the men's league. I was like the only female playing in the men's league.
I know but first of all, I think people are more surprised that there's those who are listening probably going, underwater hockey, is that a thing?
And now, underwater hockey is not a popular sport, but it is played internationally. Also known as octopush, it surfaced in the mid-1950s to keep British Navy divers fit.
It's a very rare thing for people to say that we played underwater hockey. And I remember I played with the men before. It's not an easy task.
After 20 years, I get to compete against you in this game. I know you're going to kick my butt because now you've evolved into a free diver, but there's a little added extra to this game. You hold your breath, but whoever is not holding their breath has to make the other person laugh. So I'll have to... So I've got the timer here, so we can start.
What?
Okay, who's going to hold the...
You go first.
Should I hold my breath and you're going to make me laugh?
I'll make you laugh.
Okay.
I'll make you go first. But like,
okay,
like no,
you
but
have
then
to hold your breath like this, otherwise you're cheating. You have
I
to hold your
cheat.
nose.
I don't have to cheat.
You see, I grew up with a brother.
No, okay.
Okay.
You go first then because I want to know your joke more. So you go first. So I'll hold my breath first. Wait. So when I laugh, is that when I fail?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll method on me and start crying now.
See, I'm going to put some mammalian dive reflex going. Just kidding.
Okay. And
okay.
3.
Wait, let me take my full breath.
So in one audition, I had to do a make-out session and they gave me a sponge to make out with as my co-actor. Nothing. I've got a cool talent. Tanya, no, you win. Okay, I quit.
Did that really happen? That really happened in your audition?
Yes. They actually gave me a sponge to make out with. Not a body sponge, a kombuis sponsie. Like the yellow and green sponsie. And I was like, I want to take this joke so far, but I wonder which side I'll make.
The things we had to... I hope there was more than one sponge spawns.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Now I'm going to have to think of an audition. Okay, take a breath. Okay, I had an audition once, now that we're talking about auditions. For 2 weeks, I thought I was prepping for a Canadian TV production. And then I realized that I was being suckered by Laugh Out Loud. I don't know if you remember that. And in the audition, weirdly enough, it was originally between me and a guy. And then the guy just left the room. He couldn't make it. And then they put a girl there. So I had to make out with a girl. And then they said they're going to change the whole thing. And it's going to be a Brokeback Mountain thing. And I went, that's great. And then they said, Mnet called and they said they're not going to do it. And then all of a sudden, the writer walks in and I was kissing the guy. Now apparently the guy was her husband, and then she went into a labor and I had to help her through labor by singing to her.
Black sheep, have you any will? Yes, sir, yes,
And I did all of that on Laugh Out Loud. I know. That's the worst way of explaining it. Please don't Google that, but it was ridiculous.
I was also pranked on Laugh Out Loud. Like when you said Laugh Out Loud, it was so embarrassing. Yes. It was Wackett Simpson. It was so horrible. My agent phoned me. She said to me, Charlene, you have just made the best audition. You are going straight to Hollywood. I'm going, what? I'm driving to Johannesburg. I'm like, I don't even know what audition. I don't even know, but you have to meet the director. And I go, it was like in Melrose Arch. I can't remember, like Primi Piatti or Primi. What is? I can't remember
Yeah.
that restaurant's
Yeah.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I remember going into the restaurant, and so I am crazy with pattern recognition. I can easily spot something like out of the ordinary. Walking
Right.
into the restaurant, I saw our table is the only one that had flowers on, and none of the other tables had flowers on.
You were suspicious, yeah.
It was something that just came up. And we sat at the table, and my agent just said to me, whatever happens, like, just play along, and I'm like, okay, this is maybe part of the audition. They're gonna, like, this is part of the callback. They want to test me on
Supervising.
this.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm like, strange place in a restaurant, but that's okay. And the next moment, there's a man running in with a straight jacket telling me that I have to pretend that I'm his girlfriend.
No.
And I immediately understood my assignment. Like, this is
Yes,
now the callback of
exactly.
my life. I need to
Exactly.
perform.
Oh my gosh, this is exactly what happened.
It's in the middle of, like, everybody can see me, but Charlene is going for it. No shame whatsoever. I'm like, this man is my boyfriend. Like, there's bodyguards running into. And do you know what, Tanya? At the end of the day, that is how I broke through from a model to being an actor, because the director,
Right.
Bobby Heaney, took me,
Right.
like, you remember Bobby? He
Yeah.
took me and he
Yeah. Yeah.
said
Yeah.
to me, "Thank you for playing along. I want to see you. Come and see me so I can help you put you out for audition." So
Yeah.
these things happen, and then you
For a
think
reason.
this is the
Exactly.
worst moment of my life. What was your first experience starting in the film and television and modeling industry?
Wow, it's such an interesting time to think about back then. I grew up not in the city. I didn't grow up in a world surrounded by people who were in the industry. I didn't know anything about it. I went to study musical theater. And then from there on, I went to study film. And at the same time, I was modeling on the side. It wasn't something I went out for. I mean, we were doing commercials. So basically, I was like, well, I'm an actress. And also, I'm not a model at heart, but I never wanted to be a model. But I was like, well, I can just pretend to be a model and then I can make money from it. And, how wonderful. And I think because I wasn't exposed to that world at a young age, I had no expectation of it. So I just kind of walked in with, well, I kind of have to discern as I go. And I know a lot of people had a very difficult time through the industry. Everyone had a different experience based on so many different things. Somebody will say, how do you deal with rejection, right, in the industry? And I just stop and I go, I don't know. I don't relate to that word. But I think, anyway, words are trickery. I think we are very limited in the language, because especially in our industry, I go, how is it that if there's 100 people, right, going for one role, how can 99 people be rejected? That's impossible. That doesn't make any sense, because the film industry, a commercial, a film, everything is one big puzzle, and it's someone else's job to pick the right person. Why would I say someone doing a good job is rejection on me? And that kind of, like, I decided that from a very young age that, oh, it's not rejection. It's just what it is. Like, a lot of people don't want to know who's auditioning for another role. I say, please tell me, because they are inspiring me to level up and actually run. Like, you only run faster if the guy behind you is close to you, right? If there was no one there, why would you run fast?
Don't.
Don't what? What do you know about anything?
I know that look in your eyes. I know that burn in your gut. And I know you're about to do something that would really, really upset your mother.
20 years ago, we didn't have any, like, for people that have no reference, there were no Facebook. There was no social media in the sense that pushed us. There weren't influencers. In your experience, do you think that social media needs to play this big role in pushing your career forward?
If we had to give advice to the youth right now, I mean, they're going to have a complete different experience than I have. Than I had. We get to see, we've been in a bit of both, right? So I think that's where our suffering lies, if we think they are going to have a difficult time compared to us. It's always harder for the next generation. And what you're asking, if you're saying, is it easier now with this kind of platform than it was when what we had? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's exactly the same. I think there's more opportunity, but there's also more struggle. There's also more challenges that comes with it. Because if now it's like, for instance, being an artist or any art form, you think that I will be inspired by seeing 100 or 1,000 people's content, but that could also be very intimidating, and it'll stop you before even creating it. So I think I love that we went through a time where we didn't know much. I miss the times. I love like not knowing something. I love waiting in between, because I think there's a beautiful space between the pauses, between, I think we're not bored enough anymore, because in boredom you sit and you think of something and you become creative by finding things. Now it's too easy to just, it's easy just to find things. And don't get me wrong, I think technology is incredible, but it's kind of, can you find the stillness within it and find who you are in it and create?
What was one of your hardest things that you had to navigate being a 20-year-old in the beginning of your career?
It's the perception or the idea of what you think something should look like, and how much you cling to that idea. That's where suffering lies. It's kind of, can you hold a dream with an open palm and not with a fist? And every bit of your suffering comes with the expectation of what you think it should have been. And I think the challenge was more to learn how to not take things personally, and just to kind of go, oh, this is who I am today. This is what I'm supposed to be. And I think the one big thing is, because I was an actress, I studied being an actress, I became a model while I was acting. It's the same thing to me. People put labels on it, and I don't think it's a bad thing to say that you're a model. Weirdly, there's a stigma to it, right? But I fell into the thing with FHM and that kind of thing, which wasn't planned. I didn't go, oh, I want to be the sexiest woman in the world. And like, that wasn't, I didn't enter to be Miss South Africa. It was just something that I did, and it ended up exploding in that way. And so I remember I was sitting with that, because that was early on, just after I was studying. And so now I had that stigma. Now, when people introduced me, that's kind of, it overshadowed anything that I could have done, right? And then I decided that's going to be my positive. I'm going to use it as a positive spin, because the other way is just doesn't work. Because if I get frustrated when I walk into a room and they go, oh, it's just a model, because they saw it on a cover. Back in the day, it was a big deal back then. There wasn't Instagram with all these amounts of girls. It was you going to buy that magazine, or you going to read that article. You are actually interested in it. So a lot of people knew that one thing about you, which is 2% of who you are. What if I walk into the room and they only think I am that? What power do I have? And then I thought, that's pretty cool. Like, if they think nothing of me, then I have this big space to impress them. But if they thought that I'm an incredible actress, then I'm going to have to actually be better than what they think I am. And then it's the element of surprise, because I don't mind looking like the fool, and I don't mind what you think of me, because you can only think of me based on what I give you, right? And why would I want to disclose all of who I am? So if you only do see a picture of me, you're going to have your own idea of who I am. Or if you see a film, you're going to have an idea based on the film or an article or this interview, and you're going to make your mind up, because you're meeting me through your conditionings, your triggers, your likes, your beliefs. And it's exhausting to try and convince somebody of who you are, because they only know that little part, about who you are.
Did you have that mindset from the beginning?
I think we all arrive at an idea, and then it keeps going. I think the evidence lies in the repetition of seeing something unfold when it works and when it doesn't. That's why there is no such thing as failure. I think failure is a word that we use when enough time hasn't passed yet. It's in our favor. We cannot evolve without it, without going through those kind of things. It's like going to an audition, realizing, oh, every time I show up and I dress accordingly, I seem to get the job. And then I go, oh, I'm going to keep doing that then. I'm going to keep doing that. And no, I wasn't a 20-year-old that spoke like, or understood what I understood now, but I had an idea, and I just kept following what felt good.
I still don't have advice to give to a younger person that is sensitive and that can't deal with that rejection. And then you would get the hardcore actors that would just say, then this industry isn't for you. That's not true. That's something I would say to that person is, that's not true. That is not true.
Yeah, someone else's eyes, that seems like a thing saying you need a thicker skin, because I think that's how you'll survive. It's like, that's the essence of who you are. That's what you bring to the performance. Like, why would you want to take that away? It's just to understand something differently. It's saying, if I would use the word resilience, and I'll go, I had to learn how to become resilient. That sounds like I had to toughen up. I had to learn how to push through. And I go, no, resilience doesn't mean that to me anymore. That word doesn't mean that at all. It means I had to be more open, to be moldable, to allow. It truly is just the perspective of where you're looking at. You know, it's also going confidence. Then people go, well, confidence is something that, I guess, is it because you walked into the room? But how many people walk into a room, they've never been casted, but they had that essence, right? You know, there's some actors who had it. They weren't in acting school. They didn't do those things. And I think that essence for me now means that I walk into a room with confidence because I don't need to be. I don't like the desire of needing to be the most important in the room has fallen away. And that's what shows confidence. It's just, isn't it interesting if you sit with the word that is triggering and you just kind of find a different perspective of it and you go, oh, wow, there it is. Like, I didn't think of it like that. People can't take away your peace in life. Peace doesn't come from that. Peace is kind of the thing that you give away. And the thing is, something can only make you feel something if you allow it.
I always say to people, there's a thin line between confidence and self-worth. I had to teach myself that the two can coexist together, but the one has more value. And to learn how to say, no, I will not do that role. No, I will not say that. No, it took me my entire life to get to this point, to understand that confidence can be held with my self-worth, and I don't need to sacrifice my self-worth to seem more confident.
When we are, for instance, on a film set and there's a hierarchy and there's pressure. If you think you needed to say yes to impress someone because you think by saying no, you'll lose out on more work. Once I was on a set, it was in 2009. It was a big film thing, and there was agreed upon before the audition, even like what you're willing to show and like, you know, based on nudity and that kind of thing. And guys, it's not that film. It was a different one.
It's never that film, Tanya.
It's that one. No. No, but it was a moment where it was just an intimate moment. But there was no nudity involved. But the producers cornered me on set and said, "Oh, this is a close set." No, it's not. Why would it be a close set? It's not that scene. It was agreed upon that it wouldn't be that. And they cornered me and they said, yeah, but I can't, like, it would be great. And, you know, we're doing it for the this and the viewers and the things. And I went like, I luckily understood in that moment. And I just said, I think, you know, I had such great faith in myself and understanding that if I say yes to something that I don't want, then I'm actually giving power to say that my career is dependent on that. And I just said no. And I'll remember I was young and I just said to them, no, then you've casted the wrong person. I'm sorry. I said to them, I'll give you a great performance. You wouldn't even need to go beyond that. But so just a no. And in that moment, I realized that what I would gain, I would lose way more to make them happy. And I stood my ground and it wasn't hard. And I never forget it. And I said no. And I did the performance and it was great. And, you know, they were huffing and puffing and they were upset in that moment. But after that, they realized they were kind of in the wrong. And they casted me in another film years later without even doing a callback. And they made jokes about it. We kind of spoke about it again. But yeah, I didn't lose more work because I said no. But you'll only know if you risk it. And sometimes you will lose work. And how wonderful.
Yes. If I had to strip away Tanya van Graan, actor, model, who are you?
I think if you stripped away oh my gosh, it's kind of strange because even sitting here going, Tanya van Graan, the actress, and I go like, who are they talking about? Like that's strange because it's like a 5%. Tanya loves like acting. Tanya loves expressing in art, but my identity is not attached to it. So I would just be the same. I like there's no difference to it. But if you said to me, like, for instance, I think most actors will agree in the last 20 years, there's always a quiet time in our year that we kind of go, are we going to be actors again? Is it ever going to happen again? And so we visited that idea many times. It's more if we have to translate it to the audience and say, who will we be? But I'm like, how much time do you have? Because I'll just be me. I love cats. I love the ocean. That's basically me, like majority of the time, you know what I mean? But a lot of people do struggle with that. Like if their identities is attached to the outcome of their success, whatever that means to them, and if they are convinced by it, it is tough for them to know who am I outside of it. And I think that's what COVID was for a lot of people. I think people started panicking because what if nobody has a job. So, and then it's like, what mask am I going to hide behind? And that's kind of a scary thing, because the world says it's amazing to be a star, or it's this or that kind of thing. Competition is good and goals are great, but hold them loosely in your palms, because you might miss out on such great things that's got nothing to do with that.
How do you ground yourself like this?
It's the letting go. Authenticity isn't adding or discovering who you are. It's actually taking layers off you to just expose and just be. I know people will go, oh, that sounds hoo-hoo. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's the practice of awareness. You have to understand what that means, because it's kind of, why is it that I can observe my thoughts? Like, who's the one that is observing the thoughts? Why is it that in a time of pain or chaos or whatever that is difficult times, that there's a part of me that's always okay? If you sit there in that space and you look at awareness, and that's basically been my practice. It's kind of really just watching it and not being stuck in your emotion, because you are not your emotion. You're not even your personality, because your personality is basically what was created through conditioning through life. And if you can look at your story without looking at it as if it's a tragedy, what if you chose all of that? And I know it's a difficult thing to say out loud, because people think, why would I choose trauma? Why would I choose anything in life? That was hard. But what if it was? What if it is part of our story? And it's kind of like what you want to take from it. And if you see all the good things that came out of your life is because of that, maybe it's just go internal, go inside and sit with these things, and it's really helped me so much. I am none of it. And that's why I can just let go of concepts and ideas. I just laugh at it. Like, I laugh most of the day. Like, that's just how I live, because I kind of go, isn't it funny that people think that I worry about what they say? Isn't it funny that people are so convinced by their own, shortcomings? There's so much seriousness going on in the world, and it's not. But that's through my lens, and that's my understanding of it.
He is Vincent Corbo. Mr. Corbo is a legend in the security industry. First-rate operator known all over the world. I'm putting together a new security team. I'm looking for the most badass operators out there.
Looking at your career from the outside, remember, like you say, it's perception. Like, for me, looking at your career from the outside, Tanya, it seemed like the dream. It seemed like this gradual progression of this, and I'm going to call it the super entity, growing from the first time in Bon Aqua to acting across Brendan Fraser and who knows who else. Surely it couldn't just have been just easy. Like, what was the most difficult thing that you had to overcome?
I think life happens while we do our things, right? So be it personal relationship, be it illness, be it sickness, all that kind of stuff plays out at the same time I've been on international films and do great things while things at home is difficult, or health issues and that kind of thing. I never thought that I would walk away from this. I never had a moment where I needed to walk away from it. I think the hardest parts was kind of like, realizing, when somebody wants you to look a certain way, and then you show up and then you look that way, and then you become great, and then you realized, oh my gosh, the industry just changed. They don't want people that look like us anymore. And you feel helpless, or you're ready to go and you're flying, and all of a sudden COVID hits and you go, well, that was just like, what, and then the strikes and the things, and you go, but I'm ready. Like, I'm now the thing that I thought I needed to be to succeed. And it's almost like the goalpost keeps moving and moving and moving. And it's frustrating. And a lot of people couldn't handle that, and like, just want a different path. And the cool thing is, they didn't give up. That experience was to find the next expression of wanting to be a creator in this world, whatever that looks like. A baker, like I always say, like, my mission now for me, and not my mission, it's something that I'm doing right now, is kind of like, I could be baking an incredible banana bread, and that is the same feeling of success at the end of it, when someone tastes it and go like, that is the best banana bread I've ever tasted in my life, as if I was on a movie set. Like, there is no the feeling, like I said, at the end of that thing that you think you want, is just a feeling. And I realize I can find it in different places.
What an incredible talk with you. I wish I could still talk like for another hour. Luckily, we do actually live close by. I'm
Yes.
just in Mokopane
Sure.
for a brief visit here. You live in Cape Town, and tell me a little bit about your free diving.
I grew up in the bush, so which is
Yes.
interesting because a lot of people love the bush, and I did love the bush. It was my absolute. It's all I knew, if anything, and it was magical. And I never regret growing up like that. But I always yearned for the ocean. That's why I was always at the bottom of the pool, where we played underwater hockey. And I just, being the introvert that I am, I love the silence of being underwater. I love holding my breath, and the ocean means so much to me. If I'm in it or just staring at it, you know, it doesn't ask me what is my next movie. It doesn't ask me anything. It only asks me to be present and go with it and flow with it and observe. It makes you realize there's a bigger picture other than you. I love feeling so insignificant, like you are drifting in space and you are nothing. And I know a lot of people think, oh, why would you want to feel like you're nothing? And I go, only in that can you really feel significant. So for me, yeah, I just love it so much. I think it's the quiet, it's the stillness. Yeah, less noise, less thinking, and just being. We are one connected, beautiful thing, and it doesn't need to have a label.
I understand now where you get your groundedness from, because if you can go to that safe place in your mind, and a very cool doctor taught me the other day that when you experience any stress or the breaking point, that you go, it's not a thing. Not to diminish what is happening to you, but to make your mind understand that this isn't whatever you're perceiving right now. Of course, there are bigger horrific things that happens in a moment where you have to take that awareness, but I'm talking about perceived stress, where you just go, it's not a thing. This does not define me. I just move through this. Tanya, I wish I could speak for another hour with you. It's lovely to reconnect with you. I wanted to talk to you about your music and being Afrikaans, but I would love to do another interview. Like I say to all my guests, I'm like, I'm going to do another interview with you. I asked my previous guests to nominate a person to interview. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't, but I would love a nomination from you if you're open.
Can I come back to you later?
I say to my guests, no. You have to nominate on the spot.
Oh my goodness. I go blank. I literally go blank. I nominate Art Matthews.
I'll take you up on that nomination, and I'll reach out to him in here if he wants to do a interview. You have been inspiring so many people along the way, and whether it's through the resilience, whether it's through grit, but to me, it's always been your grace. Like the grace, you've handled everything thrown on your path and just rising above it. And well done. And I can't wait to see what else is waiting for us to follow your journey with you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time with you as well.
Please subscribe to The Breaking Point and leave a review. It helps so much in reaching more people who need these conversations. Share it with somebody who need a little encouragement today. And once again, thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, every breaking point can become a beautiful breakthrough.